You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Can you hear me now? Mercury retrograde. Gotta love it. Something was not plugged in. Let's start over, shall we? Hello. Happy Friday. Happy Venus Day. Happy full moon in Cancer. Can you hear me? Make sure that you can hear me now. Yay. Okay. Thank you, my field producers out there. Gotta love a live stream. So as I was saying, when you couldn't hear me, we are less than 2 hours away from this culminating point in the moon cycle, from the first full moon of 2023. And it's a Cancer full moon, Cancer being a very emotional sign. Your emotions might feel big today. So I would love to hear how the energy is feeling for you, how this full moon is treating you so far. I know we have some of our friends joining us live. Corby is here. We have Rachel here. Maribel is here. Bree is here. Hello, beautiful people. In this episode, we're going to talk through the energy of this Cancer full moon, the different connections it's making, one of them that we're actually feeling right now, and one of these connections that will be playing out as the moon becomes full. And then I'll take you through each sign to give you some pointers on how this full moon is feeling for you. And I'm actually going to pull a card for each sign from this really beautiful deck. It's going to be a simple message that comes through for each of us. So let's get a current check on the energy. The sun is in Capricorn, the moon is in Cancer, opposite signs, which is how we get a full moon, right? The moon being directly illuminated by the sun. And that's why full moons bring up a lot of themes of polarity. So the sun is in the sign of the divine masculine, and the sun represents our masculine energy as well. The moon, which represents our feminine energy, is in the sign of the divine feminine. So there's definitely this juxtaposition we're playing with between structure and steadiness of Capricorn season and the flow and chaos and emotion of the Cancer full moon. Corby says it's been a pretty productive day, craving a nap and a long bath. Rest and retreat are in my plan. Perfect for the Cancer full moon. And a bath would be a really beautiful ritual to treat yourself to under this full moon. Doing anything working with water, because Cancer is a water sign, even taking an intentional shower or, collecting moon water would be really powerful under this watery full moon. Rachel says, starting to feel a sense of peace. I've been getting a lot of insights of what I need to let go. That's going to be something we're talking about today too. Hey, Ken, it's been a minute since we saw you here. Also did a gratitude for self-meditation today, starting this full moon with some self-love and stability. Beautiful. Hey, Nick. So let's talk about the themes of this full moon in Cancer. It's at 16 degrees of Cancer. So for those of you who are astrology pros, this is a great time to take a look at your chart, see where 16 degrees of Cancer falls in your chart. That's going to likely bring up some themes that are involved in that house, or if there are other planets in your chart at 16 degrees, they might be interacting with this full moon for you. But as I mentioned, the moon is in its home sign of Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the moon. So this is the most full moon of the year, starting off 2023 with a bang, right? Diane says, rough couple of days in our house. If you've been feeling a lot of emotions, you are not alone. Me too. It's been coming in waves. I think of Cancer as that like ocean energy of things just kind of like the emotions hitting us in waves, and that's kind of the energy of the divine feminine too. It's not supposed to be steady. It is chaotic. It's flowing with whatever emotions are coming in, whatever intel is coming in, and being able to adapt creatively, giving ourselves the nurturing that we need in the moment that we need it, being able to find safety in our own bodies by really attuning to the emotions that we're feeling, right? Hey Tanner, happy full moon. So we're really invited to tap into our divine feminine energy under this full moon in Cancer. And that makes me so happy because I will be spending the evening with lots of sisters tonight at Goddess Night Out in this women's temple. It's going to be so beautiful. So connecting to your divine feminine in whatever way feels right for you. This moon is really bringing some like mama bear vibes. So how can you create a space for yourself to feel nurtured? How can you kind of mother yourself under this full moon? What would a nurturing mother give you? That's what you can give yourself. And especially if you're feeling those big emotions, like if there was someone that was a mother figure, what would they give you? Again, give that to yourself. But in that same breath, there are themes of security that are coming up, right? Because both Cancer and Capricorn really play into security, not necessarily both of them being stable, but kind of protection, right? Cancer is the sign of the crab. We have this crab shell. We're very tender on the inside, but Cancer humans tend to be a little hard on the outside, if that makes sense, because there's a lot of soft emotions to protect under that crab shell. And we know Capricorn is all about that protective, fatherly energy, right? So how can you feel safer in your own skin? How can you find more safety for yourself? Again, looking at your chart and where this full moon is landing in your chart can give you some intel as to what areas of your life are being most affected, and maybe even what tools you can use in your life to find that sense of security. Gonna make one of those goodness outs one of these days. A major season of mothering self, mothering our mothers. Whew, you said it, and I feel it. This full moon is on top of my Neptune, Rachel says. Oh my goodness, that feels very intuitive, but also very sensitive. A lot of synchronicities coming up around dreams and not giving up on them. I love that. I also had some wild dreams this morning, and we're not going to be talking too much about Neptune today, but while we're on the subject, about 3 a.m. Pacific time, so 6 a.m. Eastern time tonight, Friday night into Saturday morning, the moon will be trining Neptune. So you might have some really vivid dreams tonight as well. Something to keep in mind, maybe keep a journal next to your bed. Hi, Katie. Happy full moon. Just finished watching the movie Fern Gully with my daughter. Feeling pretty comfy, finding comfort in my home today. That reminds me that Cancer energy can definitely bring up some nostalgia too. And this moon is going to oppose Mercury retrograde. We'll get to that in a moment. But if you're feeling really nostalgic today, that is definitely in line with the energy of this full moon. And even just thinking about watching Fern Gully, I'm like, oh my gosh, so much nostalgia. Goddess Night Out, I meant. I was wondering, Corby, but yes, I would love to see you at a Goddess Night Out, or maybe bring one to you. Big dreams, putting it out to the universe. Cancer also rules my 10th house. Same, mine is actually my 11th, but aligned with all that dream energy. Yes, thinking about your long-term goals, thinking about where you want to go. I love that. You've been having powerful dreams too. And remember, the full moon is a time where, I just saw another astrologer talking about this actually, that restlessness and sleep disruptions are like studied around the full moon. There's research that shows many people have sleep disruptions around the full moon, maybe because it's brighter at night, so we can't really get into that darkness, that REM state as easily. Maybe it's an ancestral thing. Our ancestors used to, work by the light of the full moon or stay up later during the full moon. So you might be feeling those sleep disruptions too, or just wild dreams. Oh my goodness, Diane, you met Adam Sandler in your dream this morning. I met Miley Cyrus in my dream this morning. I had like a full adventure at a movie theater with Miley Cyrus in my dream. Lots of other things too, but I think that's so funny that we both had like these celebrity encounters in our dream. Hilarious. I have Cancer moon in the 5th house. My cat came home limping, and after I pulled a pellet out of his leg, went and had a heated conversation with the neighbor whose kids I knew were responsible. Ooh. 5th house brings up themes of children, so there you go, on point. Yes to the nostalgia. I'm going to recreate my childhood room in some subtle ways. What a fun ritual under the Cancer full moon. So we kind of talked about the energy, some other things that might be coming up for you under this full moon. Cancer energy, when people have Cancer moons or when the moon is in Cancer, we often crave comfort, like comforting foods. We talked about this yesterday, but Cancer rules the stomach. So really nourishing your body, finding that nourishment in the foods you're taking in. I feel like warm foods, a lot of us are experiencing colder weather right now. So coming back to like nurturing yourself like a very gentle mother would. I'm just like soup, it feels like we should all be having soup under the Cancer full moon. Just craving those creature comforts, like chicken noodle soup when you're sick and your parent makes you chicken noodle soup. You know what I mean? More nostalgic, more tender, and definitely emotional. Especially, Cancer vibes, it's that crab shell energy. So the emotions that you might normally keep kind of private and hidden and inside your shell, inside your home, could be coming up in a big way under this full moon. And you might also just feel like being at home under the Cancer full moon, because Cancer rules the home. It's the divine feminine, the mother, the home, the family. So, you might just be wanting to be in your comfort zone. This is a really beautiful point. It's a turning point, right, in the moon cycle for release. And something that a friend of mine, Cass Vogley, she is a human design guru, she was talking about how in human design, the new year doesn't start until January 22nd. And of course, we have the lunar new year beginning on January 21st. And she said that a lot of people start their New Year's resolutions on January 1st and they fizzle out before the month even ends because we're still in a period of release. So I bring that up because the full moon is that turning point where we begin to release, and it could be like the floodgates of emotions are opening up under this full moon in Cancer. This is a really beautiful invitation over the next 2 weeks as we make our way towards the Lunar New Year, towards the new year in human design, to release any emotional baggage that you're still carrying from 2022, from the last lunar cycle even. Just giving yourself permission to let those emotions flow out of you. Let that release happen. Get in the bathtub, cry in the shower. Whatever that release looks like for you, whatever feels good for you, really honoring that and giving yourself the safety and the space to let go. It's safe to let go. It's safe to release. Finding that safety so you can just, I just feel like a floodgate opening, Taking myself on a date to Panera Bread tonight. Can't wait for that mac and cheese. They have the best mac and cheese. Yeah, that is like the comfort food of the Cancer full moon. Absolutely. Diane says, celebrity dreams are always interesting. And mine, Adam Sandler, was at a local state fair performing, taking photos with fans, and in typical character decided to work a food stand. Isn't it so weird what our brains come up with? Like, what? Yeah, in my dream, I insisted on taking my dogs to the movie theater with me with Miley Cyrus. Like that was a good idea. And we had a whole meal in like the lobby of the movie theater before we went in. So bizarre. So bizarre. Interesting to see how this full moon will play out for me. Katie says Cancer is in my 7th house with Chiron. Maybe some relationship wounds coming up for you. Everyone else in my family has Cancer in the 8th house. Husband has his moon. Son has his true node. Yeah, lots of familial, relational patterns, it seems like. Staying open to possibilities. Beautiful. That's all we can do, right? All we can do. My New Year's resolution fell apart due to no electricity last week. Still going to cut down on the fast food and give yourself time. This is all about flowing, releasing right now so you can set yourself up for a new beginning under the new moon. Yes, release so we can advance. Beautifully said, Corby. It's like letting go of self-doubt, Rachel says, dropping my defenses so I can manifest my dreams. Katie says releasing indecision and other people's perception of me. Yes, beautiful. Love that. Tanner says human design is super interesting. As an open projector, it's really helped me see my own template in a new light. Last year, I did a whole episode on human design with my friend Cass, and she is just such a wealth of knowledge. I think she's going to be starting her own YouTube channel here. So once she has more resources, I will point you in her direction because she is just like a channel for human design. She's amazing. Okay, let's talk about the different connections that the full moon is making today before we jump into what it means for each of our signs. So overnight, 1 a.m., the moon connected with the north and south nodes. This was happening at 9 degrees. So you can see the south node in Scorpio, the north node in Taurus. The moon at 9 degrees was making supportive connections to both of them. This is a subtle transit, subtle aspect, but the moon in Cancer forming a trine to the south node in Scorpio, this watery trine, really does feel like a purge of emotions, an emotional release that maybe you experienced last night or you're still kind of working through today. If the emotions are coming up, this is your reminder. They're coming up to be let out. They're coming up to be released. Like, let them flow and let them go. And so similar to what many of you are already saying, releasing to advance. That sextile to the north node at the same time is supporting us in walking the path ahead and aligning with the path ahead, but it's much easier to release right now. So knowing that release is a part of the advancement, release is a part of the journey. If we're carrying too much emotional baggage, it's a lot harder to keep walking, to keep moving forward, right? Yeah. I could talk with Cass about human design for like 7 hours straight. Seriously, maybe I'll have her back on again soon. Lots of projectors. Being a projector is a very unique view of life when you learn about what it means to be a projector and protecting your own energy and all of that good stuff. I'm a manifesting generator, so I don't know about that projector life personally, but I have lots of friends who are projectors. Okay, so that's the first connection. Then at 7 a.m., the moon squared Chiron. So most of us woke up under a square between the moon and Chiron. Chiron at 12 degrees, the moon when it hit 12 degrees, this tense square in cardinal signs. Old wounds being reopened, especially with this sense of nostalgia, maybe even wounds from the past, wounds from your childhood, like Jamie was saying, mother wounds, learning to mother ourselves with the full moon in the sign of the mother. So if you are feeling a little triggered or were feeling triggered this morning, or you felt like, oh, I thought I already dealt with that and that's coming back up, it's part of the forecast. It is what we're supposed to be experiencing right now. And remember that when we get triggered, it's an invitation for healing, right? The crack is the space where the light shines in, or, whatever that proverb, that saying is. So knowing that if those difficult emotions are coming up, if you're feeling pain or wounding, how can you find safety in yourself? How can you mother yourself through that wounding? How can you make yourself just honor the pain too? Like, there's no need. It's interesting when we're talking about mothering, because it's not like mothers are doctors. It's not like they fix our pain. They help us. A good mother, at least in my eyes, would help us feel like comfortable and safe to navigate that difficult experience, right? Not to just fix it. So giving yourself that gentle energy, treating yourself as a nurturing parent would under this full moon, especially today. I said so many things to people, Diane says, and giving yourself grace for that too. Kind of giving yourself that unconditional love like a mother would as well. Like knowing, oh, maybe I said those things out of triggers or out of pain, and it's okay. I'm acknowledging that now. The awareness is the first step toward healing, right? Yes, my man Gen twin. Being a man Gen is its own special experience too. So that's the most difficult transit we'll talk about during this full moon, that square to Chiron. Right now, you'll see the moon is forming a sextile to Uranus at 15 degrees. So we're feeling a shift this afternoon. We're feeling a change. That's what Uranus is there for. It's the change maker, it's the disruptor, and it's helping us create energetic shifts under this full moon. Almost like leaning into the excitement of release, right? Like we know that letting go of things opens up opportunity. We can invite in new perspectives. We can just be open to new experiences and new opportunities, even if they're just from the comfort of our own home. This sextile to Uranus is really opening us up to the insights that will likely come through this afternoon and this evening for many of us. Chance encounters are possible too, changes of plan. But just as I was saying as we started this episode, the Cancer moon is all about flow. It's all about flow. So flowing with changes, flowing with disruptions, allowing them to happen, and, not being too rigid or stubborn in the process, right? Katie says, I thought I would feel more upset on this full moon, recently letting go of my relationship with my own mother. Big theme, wow. But I gratefully feel excited about being a mother to my own kids and accepting nurturing. Such a beautiful reflection, and sending you so much love. You're such a good mom. And Mo thinks so too. I don't know if you heard that, but something that came up as I was talking to some of my friends yesterday who have really helped me learn how to like mother myself and find safety in myself with this safe group of women was, I believe that our parents chose our experiences, and I would not be the person I am today if I didn't have difficult relationships and difficult life experiences, right? And you probably wouldn't be the amazing mother you are if you didn't have the experiences you have with your own mother. So just honoring that and honoring that that's part of your journey into becoming the mother you're supposed to be. And we all know that you are amazing. Katie sent me, I think yesterday, a picture of a crystal grid altar she put up on her daughter's nightstand who was feeling a little scared at night. Like, how freaking amazing. You're awesome. Diane says, it does feel lighter today, thankfully. Maybe just crying it out helped. Snaps to that. I was feeling that too. Sometimes saying things, letting it out can open that door to conversation and healing. I appreciate that. Sometimes my Mercury in Scorpio makes me deliver my words a little blunt. Yeah, it'll do that. Quickly forgiven by those who love me and give me grace. I'm blessed to have them. Gratitude is a beautiful practice under a full moon as well. We're feeling very full. This is a time to celebrate abundance. A gratitude practice is highly recommended always during a full moon. Yeah, Mo knows. Mo can sense that good mama energy. Oh, your daughter put it together. Amazing. Teaching her how to set her intentions, protect her energy. I love that. Okay, but here is the last transit we'll talk about, and the most potent transit we'll feel during this full moon. You can see it as I've been pulling up the chart, this dark line in the middle, the full moon opposing Mercury. So Mercury and the sun, Mercury retrograde, I should say, and the sun are coming into a conjunction tomorrow. This is known as a Mercury cazimi, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to do a full separate episode on what's going on with Mercury this weekend because there's so much to get to. But we're definitely feeling that Mercury retrograde energy as the moon is becoming full this afternoon. You might even be feeling it right now, that sense of nostalgia many of us are feeling. But also, anytime the moon opposes Mercury, it can bring mood swings. It can kind of make us bounce between our rational mind, Mercury, and our heart, our emotions with the full moon. And an opposition is like a make or break energy. So it's kind of that magnetism. Either these two planets are repelling each other or attracting each other. And if you're experiencing more of a repelling energy, it would be like that mood swing, or kind of having a hard time making sense of how you feel rationally, like crying but not knowing why you're crying, or feeling anxiety but not really being able to make sense of it, right? But as with all transits, there's a shadow and a light, and the attraction component of this opposition feels like big realizations as we reflect, having insights come through, because we're still talking about a Mercury retrograde. There's definitely this element of looking back and reflecting, but that's when insights can come in. Hindsight is 2020, you know, as they always say. So remember, under this full moon, that our emotions are data. They contain data. And as you observe what you're feeling, being like, okay, what is this telling me about what I need? How can I nurture myself? What is this telling me about my values? And again, looking back at where the full moon is landing in your chart and saying like, okay, the emotions that are coming up, are they telling me anything about this area of my life? So almost looking at our emotions as information coming in, and that can kind of help us connect the dots and have those realizations. But it's also okay to just be gentle with yourself and not force anything to make sense. Being open to insights to come through, I think, is the best way to navigate this. So if you're experiencing any big emotions, difficult emotions, I think I've shared this before. One of my mentors taught me like almost pulling the emotion out and looking at it and being like, what are you showing me? What information do you contain for me? What can I do with you? What can I give to you? How can I help you? Looking at your emotions as data under this full moon. Oh, Katie's daughter said the crystals collect her words as she speaks them and help protect her. Kids are so attuned. I mean, that's exactly what crystals do, right? They can collect our intentions. We can like literally put our intentions into crystals. So how amazing that she already knows that. So cool. What's at 27 degrees in Capricorn on the chart? It is Pluto. Yeah, that's Pluto. So if you have anything going on, the moon will be opposing Pluto tomorrow over the weekend. So could be a little intense tomorrow. Probably, if I had to guess, tomorrow afternoon. I haven't fully charted out the times of everything for tomorrow yet, but yeah, that opposition is coming. So, you know, that's big release energy. And remember, the full moon is the culmination point, and the 2 weeks that follow the full moon are for releasing, are for letting go. The next week is all about introspection and really kind of pulling together the pieces of the emotions that came up under the full moon. And then under the last quarter moon is really when that we have that like purging and letting go. And it'll be the final quarter moon of the entire year-long lunar cycle, which is pretty cool. So this is a really potent period over the next 2 weeks for release. Yep, all about death and rebirth. Out with the old so we can invite in the new. Absolutely, Katie. So that's what's going on with the Cancer full moon. Lots of emotions and lots of opportunity for us to find new ways to nurture ourselves or just better our practice of taking care of ourselves. Now let's talk through what the full moon means for each sign. So instead of doing full horoscopes on the spiritualjournalist.com today, I just did affirmations. So I'll go through each sign. If you don't know your rising sign, you can find it right now for free at thespiritualjournalist.com/birth chart. Just look for the ASC. That means ascendant. And that's another word for your rising sign. And if you don't know your rising sign and you've gotten to this point in the video, that's okay too. Listen for your sun sign. If it resonates, take it. If it doesn't, leave it. All right. So we're going to start with Cancer and make our way backwards through the zodiac, forwards through the houses. And I will pull a simple card, a simple message for each sign. These cards are literally, they don't have a guidebook. It's just like 1 or 2 or 3 words, quick messages for each person. So starting with our Cancer risings, the affirmation for you is, It is safe for me to come out of my shell. This full moon is coming into your first house, your house of appearance, your house of self and purpose. And when we have a full moon, especially in the first house, there's this element of confidence. So really leaning into the safety of your body, the safety of yourself, and affirming it's okay for me to be seen, for me to come out of my shell, and for me to step into my purpose. Part of us really fully owning ourselves, is aligning with our purpose. And it's funny because this card just came through, be clear about what you want. So I think this is a reminder that it's easier to be confident and step forward and come out of our shell and be seen when we know our purpose, when we know what we want, and when we know our direction. If you are a Cancer rising, this full moon marks a big new cycle of full moons for you around the zodiac. So releasing what you don't want, being clear about what you do want, and stepping forward with confidence, my Cancer risings. All right, Gemini risings. Your affirmation is, I am worthy of the abundance I am calling in. Gemini risings, this full moon is moving into your second house of values and physical resources. So you might be releasing some limiting beliefs under this full moon so you can align with your abundance, so you can call in more physical resources, more physical abundance. Something really beautiful to do if you're a Gemini rising would be to make yourself a really nourishing meal, setting your intentions into that meal, and literally like eating abundance, like physically taking in abundance, because you are worthy of it. You're worthy of a nourishing meal. You're worthy of abundance. And, physical resources are a great thing to work with for you under this full moon, Gemini risings. Oh my gosh, Diane, our Gemini rising said, I just did this, one step ahead of me. Okay, Gemini risings, the card for you is seeing things for what they are. I love that this came through as we talked about abundance, like food is abundance. Physical resources are abundance. A lot of times, especially in our very capitalistic society, we see abundance as just money. This is a great time for you to call in money too, or at least to give thanks for the abundance you already have. I think that's the reminder here, seeing things for what they are. A gratitude practice would be really powerful for you too, Gemini risings. Like seeing the abundance you already have is going to align you with the energy to call in more of it. Okay, Taurus risings. This full moon is moving into your third house. So the affirmation for you is, I am open to learning new information, especially with what we just talked about with the moon opposing Mercury, with the sextile to Uranus as well. Really just staying open to new perspectives, new insights, conversations with people you might not normally talk to. New information can certainly be illuminated for you under this full moon if you're a Taurus rising. So kind of approaching the full moon as a student and approaching your own emotions as a student too. What are you here to teach me? Like having a conversation with your emotions, like I was just talking about. Like what are you here to show me? Having a conversation with any big emotions that you're feeling. And if you're a Taurus rising, the card for you is reflect. Reflect. So maybe some journaling, having a conversation can be very reflective for you under this full moon. If you're a Taurus rising, lots of reflection coming in. Our Aries risings, the full moon is moving into your fourth house. So your affirmation is, I surround myself with people and places that make me feel secure. The fourth house is all about home and family. And it's very, very on theme with the Cancer full moon because the fourth house is ruled by Cancer. So noticing places, maybe your home, maybe other people's homes, or the people who make you feel safe, who make you feel nurtured, and knowing that you're worthy of those connections, you're worthy of those places. And it's important to be in safe spaces and around safe people for us to really understand our own emotions. If we're constantly in this state of not feeling safe, it's really hard to attune to our true emotions. So Aries risings, slowing down, finding those people and places that make you feel safe and accepting nurturing. Aries risings, you might be more like gung-ho, running headfirst into things, but it's really important for you to have this slow time and find that safety in yourself before you keep charging ahead. And Aries risings, your card is be gentle with yourself. So perfect, right? Slowing down, maybe staying home, taking a nice nurturing bath. If you're an Aries rising, mothering yourself is so important under this full moon. Mothering is like the biggest theme I think that's probably coming up for you, Aries rising. So be gentle with yourself, just like a nurturing mother would. Pisces risings, this full moon is in your 5th house, and the 5th house is the house of the inner child. It is the house of creativity, romance. So my affirmation for you is, it is safe for me to be playful and free. The 5th house is a very fun house, and Pisces risings, you're very creative, you're very intuitive and flowy, but you might also be somebody who feels like you're constantly reaching for like ascension or for the next level of spirituality or understanding. And this full moon is an invitation for you to release just by playing for the sake of playing, just by having fun for the sake of having fun. Really being in your body and noticing what play feels like in your body, being around friends, being a little silly and childlike. That can be a really powerful form of release for you if you're a Pisces rising. Ooh, interesting. And this card just flipped over. Notice predictable rhythms. That's an interesting card that came up for you, Pisces risings. So maybe noticing patterns of where you're limiting yourself from being free, noticing cycles or habits that you fall into easily, and being a little creative, being a little silly to break out of those patterns, doing something different, doing something a little spontaneous or even like romantic can kind of help you break the noticeable and predictive rhythms that maybe you're stuck in right now. Okay, Aquarius risings, your affirmation is, my body is a temple. The Cancer full moon is very much tied to our body. And this goes for everybody. If you're feeling any sense of discomfort or dis-ease in your body, it's usually rooted to something emotional, right? So paying attention to that, honoring those physical sensations, and maybe looking a little bit deeper into like, where is this coming from? Even just physical tension. Where do you need to release physical tension, Aquarius risings? Relax your jaw, drop your shoulders, do some breath work or some yoga. The 6th house is all about our health and wellness. So releasing bad habits or old patterns and really acknowledging your health, your wellness, your routines, those will likely be illuminated for you right now under the Aquarius full moon. And your card is finding balance. Perfect for the 6th house of health and wellness. Finding balance in your routines. Finding balance in yourself, honoring what habits maybe you need to release that you've been clinging to in order to have a more balanced, healthy life. Wow, Lana, I'm a Cancer sun, moon, and rising. This is a big full moon for you. Definitely been feeling the change the past few days. That makes total sense. All that 12th house energy moving into your 1st house, that is like big death and rebirth energy. Love that. Okay, Capricorn risings are next. Your affirmation is, I deserve safe and loving relationships. I deserve safe and loving relationships. This full moon is moving into your 7th house of one-on-one partnerships. And so relationships are really being illuminated for you right now. This isn't just romance. It could be your relationships with a parent or a child or a friend or a coworker. It's really about that one-on-one connection. And maybe noticing under this full moon if there are any relationships that you don't feel totally safe in. How can you feel safer in them? Maybe how can you feel safer in yourself? And also, do you want to keep energetically connecting with these people who don't make you feel safe? Is it really worth your time and energy to be around people who you don't feel safe with? So kind of using the intel that's coming up through your emotions today to find the root of any unsafe relationships. Is it coming from you? Is it coming from the other person? Is it a combination of both? And how can you find more safety in your relationships, Capricorn risings? And the card for you is, anything you want to find out, it's out there somewhere. Anything you want to find out, it's out there somewhere. So this feels like a reminder. If you're a Capricorn rising, you might not be the most like warm and fuzzy and outgoing person, but rather than making assumptions about how someone else is feeling or just kind of assuming that you know what's going on the other side of a relationship, asking the information you want to know is out there somewhere, and it's probably in the other person's heart and in their mind, right? Or if you're looking for guidance in relationships, there are so many resources, free resources, books. So maybe it's that you are looking for more tools on how to find more safety in your relationships. Anything you want to find out about relating to other people, it's out there somewhere. So perfect for you, Katie, right? Part of my intentions for this full moon. I love that. Okay, Sagittarius risings. Your affirmation is, it is safe for me to be vulnerable. The full moon is in your 8th house if you're a Sagittarius rising. And if you're a Sag rising, you love to have fun, you love to party, you love to grow and expand. But really, this full moon is about tapping into the deeper emotions, really going deep within, being vulnerable in yourself, and maybe also having vulnerable conversations or experiences with other people too, knowing it's safe to be vulnerable. Things don't have to be expansive and fun all the time. In fact, there's usually, maybe I shouldn't say usually, but there is a lot of value in having hard conversations and getting quiet and being in your own darkness and really like uncovering what's deep down in there, right? Dark, deep emotions could be coming up for you under this full moon if you're a Sagittarius rising, and that's probably not the most comfortable, let's be honest, but that's what you're meant to be doing right now. Honoring the phase you're in and knowing it is safe for me to be vulnerable. And love this for your son. He's had separation anxiety lately. This is so aligned. Yeah. And noticing too, the 8th house can be a lot about like cord cutting and release. So if you're experiencing really big emotions or a lot of anxiety, like what is that tied to? What do you need to cut the cord to in order to feel more free and safe in yourself and not be taking on other people's energy so much? And that's not necessarily for your son, Katie, but just for any Sagittarius rising who is watching right now. And the message that wants to come through for you is look to nature for healing. I love that. The 8th house is associated with energetic connection, and this is the reminder that we are nature. We're connected to nature, and sometimes sitting in nature, being in nature, finding that quietness, finding that stillness can help us go deeper within ourselves. Being in nature is like a meditative state all on its own, right? Also, if there was a house associated with mushrooms, it would definitely be the 8th house, and I could see some Sagittarius risings in need of a mushroom journey. Just putting that out there. I don't know. That's one way to look to nature for healing. Okay, Scorpio risings. Your affirmation is, I am here to grow and be seen. It's really interesting. Like, it's almost like the Sag risings and the Scorpio risings are swapping energy under this full moon. I'm here to grow and be seen. If you're a Scorpio rising, you probably tend to wear your mask and like to be a little bit of a mystery, right? But this full moon is reminding you that you're here to grow, you're here to expand. You don't always have to be down in the depths and doing the research and being in your deep emotions. It's safe to travel and grow and manifest and expand. So this is a season for you to release the need to get to the bottom of everything and instead just see how high you can go rather than how deep you can go. Scorpio risings, the message coming through for you is, it is within reach. If you're a Scorpio rising, this feels like a really powerful full moon to manifest under, and starting with gratitude, right? Gratitude for the things that are already part of your life, and knowing that whatever you want to manifest next in the new year, in the upcoming new moon, it is within reach. You are worthy of growth. You are worthy of expansion. It's right there for you, and it is within reach. Okay, Libra risings. Corby, yes to the mystery and going deep. Thought about manifesting earlier. This is so aligned. Perfect for you, Corby. Perfect for you. Okay, Libra risings. Your affirmation. I am worthy of great success. I am worthy of great success. If you're a Libra rising, people pleasing probably comes very naturally to you, wanting to be seen through relationships. But with this full moon in your 10th house, this is really your invitation, like, to succeed on your own, to step out there on your own and go after what you want, regardless of what the people you're connected to want. You're worthy of great success, and just for you, you know. Of course, if you're a Libra rising, you're going to want to share the success with other people and have them be part of the journey, but knowing that you are worthy of great success. And gratitude feels really potent for all of us, but for you too, Libra rising, of like all the ways you've succeeded so far, giving yourself credit, releasing any limiting beliefs holding you back from succeeding, maybe even reflecting as the moon opposes Mercury on what success really means to you, releasing anybody else's definition of success so you can really align with what you want moving forward into the new year. And if you're a Libra rising, the card that came through is I have support. Again, you're probably a little bit of a people pleaser, and that's okay. But being willing to accept love just as much as you give it is going to help you succeed. You have support. People are cheering for you. People are rooting for you. And people want to see you achieve your definition of success, not society's definition, but your definition of success. So remembering you have support as you continue your climb to success. Yes, Rachel, I love this. Thank you. I am worthy of my dreams and what I want for my life. Absolutely. You're stable and you're on your way there. You're climbing, even if it doesn't feel like you're making a lot of progress. You absolutely are. You absolutely are. Look at that. Sag Sun facilitating a cacao and mushroom ceremony this weekend. Great for the full moon with that 8th house energy, right? We already talked about Taurus, but once the video is done, you can go back and watch for sure, Joanne. Love this for my Scorpio rising husband. He has a Cancer moon. Beautiful full moon combination. Yeah, this is a great full moon for water signs for sure. Okay, last two signs. My fellow Virgo risings. This full moon is moving into our 11th house, and the 11th house is all about communities. So our affirmation is, I find support in my community. Finding safety in community, knowing that you don't have to do it all on your own, Virgo risings. You don't have to be in control. It's okay to lean on other people. And yes, you're a giver. You want to give to everybody else if you're a Virgo rising, but also accepting support from your community, knowing it's safe for other people to help you too. Okay, so Virgo risings, the card for us is... ride the wave, see where it takes you. Ride the wave, see where it takes you. I've really been feeling that wave analogy. I was just talking about that on Instagram today and just flowing with my emotions, even riding the wave of my emotions today under this full moon. And it's really interesting because as I reflect on riding my own emotional waves in the past, that's how I have found community, is riding the waves of inspiration, of emotion. So if you're feeling intuitively under this very intuitive full moon, like, I kind of feel like trying that. Ride the wave, see where it takes you. There might be a whole new community waiting for you just by kind of taking that leap and trusting your intuition. I know if you're a Virgo rising, you want it to be rational, you want it to make sense, but this is your permission to ride the intuitive wave, ride the emotional wave, and see where it takes you. Oh, we love that for your Libra rising sun. Love that. Okay, and last but not least, our Leo risings. The full moon is moving into your 12th house. This full moon probably feels like a big release for you. The next full moon will be in your 1st house, which feels like renewed confidence for the new year. But right now, if you're a Leo rising, it's all about shedding old emotions so you can make way for new growth, new energy, to magnetize new people into your world, which you're so good at if you're a Leo rising, right? So this is really the full moon to maybe put your pride aside for a little bit and just cry it out. Release it, take a bath, take care of yourself, be in your little cocoon. Again, Leo risings, you like to be seen, you like to be out there, you like to be having fun, but this full moon for you really feels more of like an internal processing, an emotional processing, and just giving yourself time, resting. Rest feels really important for you if you're a Leo rising under this full moon. So maybe staying in this weekend, staying in tonight, or if you are going to be around other people, making sure it feels like an environment where you can release and be safe in whatever emotions come up for you under this full moon. And Leo risings, your message, gratitude. Simple. Gratitude. And I love how this is the last card we're pulling because it feels like a reminder for all of us. But under this emotional full moon, giving thanks for all that is, giving thanks for all that's being cleared away, and trusting. Trust is a big theme right now for Leo risings. Trusting that whatever's coming next is even better than you can possibly imagine. All right? Gratitude. Love that. Love that for us. Reminding me that I need to do a gratitude practice today for sure. All right. Those are the messages. I'm not going to pull another card. I think we all got the messages we need, but I will wrap up with an affirmation for all of us, and that is feeling is healing. Feeling is healing. So remember that we can't heal things without feeling them. If we keep suppressing things, they're just going to come back up more and more dramatic every time, right? So this full moon is all about feeling it so we can release it, so we can shed this final layer in this year-long lunar cycle, in the year-long cycle of human design apparently too, and just give this final little purge of energy permission to release so we can start something fresh and new under the Aquarius new moon in just a couple weeks. Hey, Elena, you did make it. Love it. Oh, good. I'm glad you guys appreciate each sign. And I'm liking these cards because they're really simple and it feels like a really direct message for everybody. And I have to mention too, these cards, the deck is called Inquire Within. And these were actually gifted to me by a beautiful soul, a beautiful mama energy, actually. Her name is Andy Torres. I don't know if you can see because it's all metallic. And she gifted these to me at a holiday market that I put on, and I'm so grateful. Gratitude. So grateful for these cards. They're such beautiful messages and beautiful art, and just grateful for the souls that I've connected to this year, including all of you. I love you all so much. It's all right. You can rewatch. That's the beauty of YouTube, right? Going at your own pace. Feeling so grateful for this community, for the support I feel from all of you, for the ability to allow your emotions to be seen through the chat, and for the support you're giving each other. So glad you're all here. I hope this full moon treats you well. I hope you have some beautiful emotional realizations. I think I am going to be back tomorrow because there's a lot going on with Mercury. And you know, Mercury's my planet. I can't not talk about a Mercury Kazemi with you all. Oh, Maribel says, logging onto the live stream always makes me feel better. Me too, Maribel. Me too. You are worthy of feeling safe. Regardless of your sign, regardless of what's going on in your chart, remember under this full moon in Cancer, you are worthy of feeling safe, and you can give that safety to yourself. Treat yourself like a gentle, nurturing mother would. And tonight's a great night for some moon water, for releasing rituals. Tonight's the night to do it. You could do it over the weekend too, but I feel like tonight's going to be a really potent night to work with the full moon. Doing something with water as well, with all this watery energy, would be really, really powerful. Try to catch it as a Mercury-minded Virgo. Yeah, Nick. Sending you all so much love. And if you're new here, welcome. Please like and subscribe to the channel so we can keep these videos coming to you for free every weekday. Amazing, Rachel. Finding community. That's going to be so perfect for you. Full moon meditation. All right. Have a beautiful full moon. Much love to you, Tanner, and I will see you whenever I see you next. But until then, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.